Brandon, when did you know that Joe is your guy?
Yeah, it's funny. We interviewed Joe first, and these were long interviews. Some teams that started earlier in the process kind of Zoom some people for an hour, maybe hour 15 is a lot of those. And then you hear about the second interview. We knew that we needed to kind of pare this field down best you could. I mean, nine people is still a lot. But at the same time, you want to be thorough with the process. And so we kind of went through, we didn't, after each person went, we debriefed as a group and took notes and made sure to hear each other, like what, because sometimes I may miss something. Oh, that's what he was saying there. And so I would say when we got done with the last candidate, which ended up at about 10 o'clock one night, we stayed in there for another 2 hours, talked a little bit, and Joe was standing out. There were two or three that were standing out, and we said, you know what, let's go to bed. We're tired. We came back the next day, and we talked some more, and we said, you know what, we did Joe solo. Joe was starting to rise here as the guy, but we also know we know Joe, and honestly, I almost think Joe had a tough hill to climb. As I was telling the staff earlier, when we started this process, I made sure, and you can ask anyone that was in the interview, Terry, Pete, Josh, anybody, Laura, that the best process is not to look at Joe Brady as someone in our building, because we know the good, the bad. It's like living with someone, right? These other people, we don't know every single thing about them. And so we need to pretend, I think I said like that Joe's been coaching for the Green Bay Packers or something. And so I made Joe go through, we never met him before. And there were some other candidates that we knew. I know we know you, start from scratch, because I may know something that Terry doesn't know, or that Pete or Brian Gain. So it's a long answer for you, Matt, but I did not want to rush this process, and I wanted to be fair to every candidate. And so we got Joe back on a Zoom call. I called him, hey, bud, we need more here. And so we wrote down the questions that we still had for Joe. And about halfway through that process, I was like, that's our guy. But I still had to let Terry finish some questions too, because I want to make sure he was on board and the approval. And Terry, didn't even reach back over to me. He's like, I think you're the next head coach. I was like, Terry, I got to talk to his agent. Like, we got to get. But it was a great process. It was a thorough process. And as I said in my opening statements, I took so many notes. I've already shared some with Joe, but it's great to peel back the onion of how different teams and how some of these, there were some smart people. And I mean, you're always trying to learn. I learned way more than I knew I would learn stuff, but I learned way more than I ever thought I would, that I was missing. And so we'll take those as advantages, and we'll talk about what we heard, what we like, and try and create this new vision for the the next iteration of the Buffalo Bills.